I'll just pull up my YouTube. Let me see if I can get the link for it here. We're live. So guys, I'm live here with Andrew, the CEO of Lucid Drones, and you're the founder too, correct?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. So what made you think, hey, I'm gonna make these drones?
We really started this company just from a place of genuine human concern. We saw these people hanging off the sides of buildings well above ground from things like lifts, ladders, scaffolds, you name it. And we just thought to ourselves, how has no one found a way to use existing technology to make this a safer job? And I'm sure from your time in this space, you know this, getting up on a ladder, it's dangerous as hell. Last year, over 500,000 people went to the ER from ladder-related falls. So we're like, we want to find a way to leverage drone technology to make this safer. And we just went heads down, and the early days were humbling. I remember we used to do our soft wash, cleaning with drones as batching in 35-gallon trash cans that I fit into the back of a sedan and we picked up from Lowe's. So those were the early days of Lucid, proving that drones could clean buildings, and it's evolved a bit since then.
Yeah, I was talking to you guys. Got some new software coming. See, we got people on here. We got Jairus Daniels. You're driving. Hey, I appreciate you tuning in. Who the heck is the Admiral? Hey, for some reason, Jeremy, I know that's you. I can't see you. You got to authorize StreamYard to broadcast your name so I can see that you talking trash about me. So there we go. See, I can go dual screen and see their comments. So it's when somebody doesn't give it authorization, I can still see it. But I appreciate that because we always tell people in our company is like, hey, the number one thing I'm concerned about is safety. And
Sure.
guys, I'm like, go slow. Like if you're on a ladder, go slow. And we rented a job because the roof was super slick, and it was a metal roof, and we tried everything. We tried every shoe we had nothing, and I rented a lift, so that would have been a perfect application for the drone. And in that specific instance, I feel like we did end up having to go pressure, but I would have tried probably hitting it a couple more times with chemical if I had a drone available. I've seen some of your videos and I've shared them around. And when I made this ad, I talked about it. Like, it's very interesting because it looks like it's very versatile.
Exactly. I think one of the biggest benefits is not having to rely on exactly those handheld methods, whether it be getting up on a ladder, having to rent a lift. Because what people don't often think about is all the other hardships that come with that. Like if I'm getting up on a ladder, me versus gravity is a really bad equation. I mean, I've heard horror stories of somebody missing as little as just a bottom rung of a ladder and shattering their ankle and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in workers' comp over years, depending upon how OSHA classifies that. And I think that the other big point is not having to rent a lift. It's just so much nicer. Lifts are really annoying to take off the truck. They're annoying to coordinate shipping. They cost a lot of money. And think about how often you need to relocate this platform, not just vertically, but also horizontally to clean large buildings. With the drone, you set up in a couple minutes, you're up in the air, you could be 2 stories and then 5 stories in a matter of seconds. I mean, it's really versatile to your point. And I think beyond just—
And it's not tearing up the landscape either.
Exactly. We've seen a lot of country clubs be really excited by what we're doing. Their members pay a lot of money to go and enjoy a nice view, right? But a lot of these places have specialty roofs like slate tiles. And trying to clean those manually is really difficult because if you walk on them as you're cleaning them, they're incredibly slick. So it's a huge slip hazard. And if you walk on them, you might also break them. And having to get a lift around a country club, good luck protecting the landscape.
Yeah, that's a hard no. Like, there's nothing good about that. Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. And it's just kind of funny to see the data points too. I know one of our cleaning drones was recently used to clean like a golf course, country club type roof. And they were done in less than 5 hours. They made over $6,000 on the job. And they're kind of sitting there smiling to themselves. And they tell me the property manager comes up to them and says, how much we paid the last time we had this cleaned by a traditional method? And they're like, I don't know, like 9,000. And they go 38,000. And then they all of a sudden went from being very proud of how quickly they made that $6,200 to thinking, wow, we could have charged even more. So it's one of those things where you just save so much time. It really does allow you to be much more cost effective, but ultimately make better margins, which is what everybody's chasing. How can I make more money for every minute I spend out on the job?
And you said the setup time. I've seen it advertised. How fast is the setup time?
So for beginners, I'll tell you it takes about 3 minutes if you're going like full out of the box, connecting the hose and setting the drone up. But once you get used to it, I mean, less than 2 minutes, you're up in the air and running.
So how big is this thing? Like, I've seen photos of it, but like, do you guys have any photos of it in like the back of a vehicle or something that we can see for what people are going to have to haul it around?
So I don't know if I have any handy, but what I can tell you is that the drone folds, so it's very modular. When it's fully spread out, it's about 4.5 feet in length. But when you fold it down, it fits in this 2-foot cube. So for us, we just put it right in front of our soft wash rig in the back of a truck. We've got plenty of space for it.
2 feet's easy. That's crazy. Yeah. That's super, super portable.
Exactly. It's got handles, so it's easy to pick up and move around the job site and whatnot.
That soft wash rig looked legit. Like when I actually got your stuff, and I was like, "Wow, this is like y'all are putting some heat down."
Yes. Yeah.
Because like when we were setting this interview up, Buzz was awesome, like super easy to work with, and he was like, "Hey, let me give you some data, so because I always like to know more about what I'm asking about, and like
sure.
I read through everything, and I was like, man, like this is impressive because like." I feel like that's not really talked about. You're not just getting a drone, you're getting a gas powered soft wash rig that's like, it's compact and it's well built. It's aluminum. I mean, this thing is like no joke. Now, so on that side of it, a lot of guys love gas powered. I actually am putting together a Comet P40 on this trailer right now.
Okay.
I'm a very curious guy. I love to try new things. And, I'm like, hey, if it doesn't work, we're going to flip the switch and we're going to go to our backup soft wash system because I'm a submariner. We did quad redundancy. So I'm very much into that. But so from the company standpoint, what's the support for somebody if the soft wash system went down?
Yeah. So right now there's kind of two lines of defense. We partner with Midwest Soft Wash System. So they're a bunch of great guys over there and they're really hands-on and supportive in that nature. For some other kind of day-to-day issues, our product managers have stepped in when people have questions about, what kind of hose clamp should I use for this? Just very basic dilution questions too, because we've launched customers anywhere from people that have been soft washing for a decade to people that are just getting in the business. And what our goal as a company to do is to be that technology provider that helps everybody make more money. So in whatever way we can support, we usually try to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and I don't feel like the gas systems are like overly complicated. I just feel like, if you've never used one, the guys that need that like extra support, like it can be helpful.
As a part of our like typical launch process, we've got optional hands-on in-person training. And during that in-person training, we have a segment dedicated specifically to how do you use the soft wash system, just so that everybody leaves feeling really comfortable with it. So for the people that may be a little bit newer in the soft washing space, we don't want you to leave guessing, how do the knobs work? How do I even do the electric start? Like all the very basic things. Once you do it once or twice, you get the hang of it pretty quickly.
And they're not crazy complicated. It was just more of like the support on the back end. Because like I know, your guys' stuff really clearly covers the support for the drone, but understanding for a user standpoint that there's a support for that. So would they interface with you or would they interface with Midwest?
So the first thing we'd want to do is send them in Midwest direction, since they're the one that actually, produced the system. We've used it a ton. So when we can help out, we will help out. And again, like it's so many of soft wash rig issues, they usually end up being what becomes common knowledge to the people that are in the space every day, whether it's replacing a hose here or needing to tighten a hose clamp there because you've got a leak. So it's just doing it for
Or
a while
shutting
and
it
you kind
down
of know
without
what to
letting
look
off
for.
the handle.
Yes, yes,
Blowing
that's
your
another
manifolds
good
right
one.
there. So anybody watching, if you have a gas powered system, don't let off the trigger when you shut it down. You're gonna create a
I'll tell
water
you,
hammer.
I'll tell you, before I ever started this company, I probably didn't know my way around the plumbing section at Lowe's too well. And now I think everybody there knows me by my first name. I go so often. So,
Oh, for real. My first rig build was like probably 8 trips a day, and I was the Parks and Rec guy. They're like, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "I know more than you." Okay, I didn't say that. I would never say that. But that's at that point, I'm like, I don't need any help. I know where it is. Like,
you're like, I know what I'm doing here, but I appreciate the offer.
I'm just tired and I can't remember to get all the things on my list because I'm dumb. And they're like, that guy just told me he knows more than me, but then said he's dumb. Like, I think that's an insult. All right, first, there we go. All right, Justin Hampton, we got a question right here. So, what's the cost to lease? So, there's 3 tiers, correct?
Yeah, so our standard pricing starts at $1,800 a month. And then on top of that, you have the option for different tiers of support depending upon what you're looking for. And the way we usually say is look at what the drone can do for you as well. It's going to save you time, help you make more money, and ultimately reduce your liability. And especially for the guys out there doing larger jobs, whether it's higher end residential and you're renting a lift or say hotels, college campuses, if you need to rent a lift for a couple days a month, you're already going to have that in a drone cost, but the drone's going to be able to clean it much more efficiently. So it pays itself back really quickly. And again, just for an example, that $6,200 job I was talking about was done in 5 hours thanks to the drone.
We got some more questions. Josh, so he just answered the question about the cost to lease is starts at 1,800. This is Sierra. I'm switching back and forth to see who's asking questions. So Sierra is asking, what happens if it falls or breaks? What does the support for that look like?
Yeah, so we describe it just like a car lease, right? If you lease a car and you run it into a stop sign, that's something that wouldn't be covered. But if you've got something like your brake light comes on and that's what causes an issue, that's all covered by us. So that's typically the way to look at it is if it's typical just misuse of the product, then that's not covered. But if it's a standard, say, product malfunction or something on the actual engineering or production side for us, we cover that part.
That makes sense. And I know why she's asking because they're bidding a 10-story massive build brick building, and they're like, oh, the curiosity right there. This is perfect. Yeah. When you start doing big jobs like that, this is where it becomes cost effective because you don't need a lift, you don't need a spider lift, you don't have to really worry about it. And the benefit of a gas powered system is it's got the oomph to push the water.
Oh yes, that's a big one versus say using a 12 volt. You just get a lot better flow and pressure as you get higher and higher.
So we got Jarius Daniel's question: is there insurance to cover damages?
Yeah, so as part of what we do is we help our customers get set up with their aviation insurance to cover the drone. So it's just an add-on to anybody's general liability policy. So you'll be well covered on that end.
Nice, makes sense. All right, so I know Xavier is probably sitting here with like 67 questions, and somehow Xavier is going to ask us about like a tax haven in another country because apparently that's a relevant thing in our line of work. I did an interview with our tax attorney, and Xavier's local to Texas, so he was asking him like question. And I'm like, what's going on, man? I'm like, I feel like I'm going to have to plead the fifth over here. So we'll see if he has some questions because I know he's an inquisitive guy. Smart guy.
I'm nervous now.
No. Like this guy is a guy that, from my opinion, like will look at things and like, seeing your drone would make him go, I can go bid, these 67 jobs. Whereas, even I'm only like looking at like, oh, I can bid these like 3 or 4 jobs. This guy It just really lays it out long term, things like that. All right. Well, we wait on how big is the drone? So we already answered that question, but we'll go.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll just answer it again. So when it's fully unfolded, it's about 4.5 feet wide and it's about 2 feet off the ground, but it folds into a 2 foot cube case.
which is awesome. Like that's amazing. A drone big enough to hold that and it folds that low. How long does the process take from setting up to getting a drone at my house and in the air?
So again, it only takes about 2 to 3 minutes. I know I've gotten calls from customers where I was sharing this anecdote of a hotel that was cleaned with our drone, and this was just shy of a $4,000 job, and it was again done in a day, so a really good return. And we calculated how many minutes of flight time they used. It was about 2 hours of flying to clean this whole hotel. I'm like, all right, about $1,900 per hour of flight. That's really exciting. And I shared that story with a customer, and he goes, I just cleaned a roost for $850 in about 10 minutes. So, again, once you're in the air, it goes really quickly, and the process of getting in the air is only about 2 to 3 minutes.
Question, and that I think part of the process is there's a big lead time because these are basically custom built units, right?
Yeah, you mean from
Like
when you
ordering.
place your order?
Yeah.
Yes. So they're all custom built locally in Charlotte, North Carolina. Again, we began this company just as 3 college students back in the day, and we take a lot of pride in building, assembling, supporting all here in the United States.
Nice. Let's see. Question. I can tell you who this is. Maybe. Blake is asking, can you buy the drone or do you have to lease?
So at this moment, we only offer lease options, and that's because we want to ingrain the expectation of being able to provide our customers with consistent, ongoing support. And the other big part of this is we're moving so quickly on the technology. If you get a drone today, it would be outdated in a couple months. So through this lease program, we get to continually give you updates and access to all the latest and greatest features. Because again, our job is to help everybody make more money in less time with less liability. So when we come out with a new feature that saves you time or improves your safety, we don't want to wait to give it to you.
Absolutely. And Danny's asking, what are the gallons per minute it can stand?
So the current pump we're using pumps out about 9.6 gallons per minute. We haven't tested higher than that yet, but it handles 9.6 very comfortably. Is there a specific GPM you're looking for, or is that about the range?
I mean, that's a lot. So another one was how long to ship, and what was that? It was like 4 weeks, right?
Yeah, typically it's a 4-week lead time.
Right. So Danny, running 9.6, like you're gonna be able to hammer a lot of stuff. And I know I was asking a lot of questions because once Buzz and I got to talking, we were trading emails fast and furious, and I felt like every time I was emailing him, I was sitting on a plane because we were all over the country for a little bit.
Sure.
So one of the things you guys are coming out with is the ability to take it and program a route into it, right? That's coming in the future. And to me, that seems like crazy useful, especially look, there's some talented people out there, but when you're hot and you're tired, GPS tracking is way more accurate than you are. So me having the ability to be hit this house in a pattern that I know will work, and it's consistent and it's not flooding the roof because I don't want to flood the roof, and then I can be super accurate. That was where I was ooh, I'm highly interested in that, because that is obviously you have to deal with weather and wind and things like that. But in general, when you can sit here and go run this pattern, and it's going to take you X amount of minutes to run this pattern, and then it's going to be efficient about it. That's where you you don't have to be a gigantic company to start looking at this, I feel because you can say, man, I don't have to have a guy up there on the roof breaking his neck. Tying off on a roof is insanely hard because no one wants to drill into roofs, and lifts, like you said, are a pain. So it's if you're cleaning a lot of roofs and that's your thing, 2 roofs is going to pay for this. Now, if you're cleaning consistently 5 to 7 roofs a week, if not more, this is going to be like your efficiency is going to go crazy, like through the roof. Your capacity to do this is going to be, they're going to be calling you, be like, can I get more batteries?
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the most rewarding things about working with our customers is just seeing the incredible ways they've used the product. I know within the last week, our drone's been out cleaning 2 different church steeples. And when we first started with drone cleaning, we didn't really have this use case of church steeples in the back of our mind. But when you think about it, it's relatively limited square footage in terms of what needs to be cleaned, but it's very difficult access where you almost always need to rent a lift to do it. And I know, again, one of our drones is going down to do some industrial maintenance. They're going to be cleaning a large tank. So it's just fun to see outside of, more of the traditional soft washing things like roofs and hotels. It can be used in a whole host of other places.
So Blake has a question. Are there any future updates to be able to clean windows?
Yeah, so Windows is a really big topic for us. And people often ask, like, hey, can the drone clean Windows? And the answer is yes, but what are you looking to clean? So if you're looking to clean like spider webs, bird poop, that film of dirt and dust, the drone can get rid of that. But if you're trying to, say, get rid of like these really small hard water spots or inorganic stains on windows, that's not something the drone can clean. And I think that the best way to put it is, let's say you go on a cross-country road trip. Your car is filthy by the end of it, right? If you go through a no-touch car wash, your car's going to look a whole lot better. But if you go through a touch car wash, it's going to look a little bit better than that no-touch car wash. But again, it's like, what is the trade-off in terms of the overall price? So that's where we're at right now. We acknowledge we're not quite as good as squeegees, but if it's bird poop, spider webs, and dirt and pollen you care about, those are things the drone can take care of. And when I say the drone, it's really the cleaning solution.
Yeah, and I think that's a big deal because, like, in our industry, there's a lot of like crossover with window cleaning, and I work with several. I work with a window cleaning company, and I don't do windows with another company, but they're real big, and they also wash, and so their interest is significant. So next question is, what's the highest wind the drone can fly in?
So we suggest customers don't fly in winds above 20 miles an hour. And that's not necessarily like a technical limitation. That's usually a limitation based on spray. If I'm 6 stories up on a hotel and there are 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts, I'm likely not getting the spray where I want it to go anyway. And the same would hold true if I was up in a lift. So it's, again, more so a spray concern and just trying to be really effective with your chemical usage and not having your overspray wind up 2 blocks away killing a bush.
Yeah. I know I don't know where it is, but the question was, how long does it take to get your license to fly it? Like your drone license.
Yeah, so there are kind of 2 parts to this, right? From a legal regulatory standpoint, you need to get what's called your FAA Part 107 license. So we partnered with the best online education provider for that. And most people can take all of that online learning and digest it in about a week. And then it's a 60-question multiple choice test, typically at your local airport. When it comes to learning to fly the drone, there are multiple options that we offer as a company. You can come for an in-person training with us and get that hands-on flight experience, or we can even just send you the drone and give you access to the product manual and some online tutorials.
I'm going to have to change our view for this question. This is massive. Here we go. Oh, wait, I can't even, I was hoping this would work. It's just going to block us out for a minute. So what's the highest pressure the drone can handle? We talked about gallons per minute, but pressure. I guess so force.
In terms of the highest pressure, right now we really recommend this as a soft washing application. We've tested this with pressure washers with PSIs in the thousands. But the thing about pressure washing is you need to be much closer to the surface to effectively clean. And you don't want to be flying a large drone that closely to the surface. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So in your soft wash system, what's it configured to? Is it the 190 or 290?
So on our pump, it's a 290.
Okay. So it's pushing 290 PSI, which is the gas, for those that haven't used it. gas roof systems will shoot anywhere from 50 to 60 to 70 feet, depends on how you have it set up. But second question is, what's the liability of the leaser if there's damage to the drone? Which you already covered that, and then there's insurance is required for this, right?
Yeah. So again, in terms of like the general liability policy, most companies already carry. Drones aren't already on that, so you have to add an additional insurance policy on top of it. But it's only about $75 a month, so it's a very minimal cost. And our provider does it all online, so it only takes about 5 minutes to get set up with them.
Awesome.
And then the next question is there insurance per person flying the drone? Typically, the policies are done per drone as opposed to per person.
Nice. So, do you have to have any type of job safety hazard analysis for flying the drone in a populated area?
So I'll speculate on this one by what's defined as a populated area. If you do go into a city, there would be more hoops you have to jump through. I know some customers have had to look at things like street closures in order to get the right access. And again, the same would hold true if you're renting a lift and didn't have great access. But outside of that, I would need to talk to some more customers flying in dense urban environments to see there are other hoops they've had to jump through.
That makes sense. So this question is so big it wouldn't fit on the screen, which I appreciate that. Like, this is my boy Xavier. I told you he had some good questions. So when it comes to technology, are there any type of software upgrades? So you guys roll out things like that?
Yes. So, I mean, pretty much constantly we're giving new features. And I think if you talk to some of our customers, it's one of their favorite things about us. Because if you come and use the drone today, you'll be blown away at how efficient it is, how easy it is to use. And you'll appreciate this story. I took Buzz out one day and I said, Buzz, I'm going to teach you to fly a drone as quickly as I could possibly teach someone to fly a drone. How quickly do you think you could learn? And he'd never flown a drone before. And I think he thought I was going to have him out there all morning, just sweating in the North Carolina summer sun. It was 31 minutes. He was done in 31 minutes. I wasn't anywhere near him. He was just flying, covering the whole face of this industrial warehouse. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to head inside. And I don't think he wanted to put down the controller. So that was a fun time.
That's awesome. And that's, like that's how you say 31 minutes to teach somebody. That's serious. Like, it's an intuitive control. So
exactly. Oh, and sorry, on the software like features and updates, one of the features our current customers love if it's got forward-facing obstacle avoidance. So what that means is I could say, Heath, try to fly this drone straight forward into the building, and it's going to stop time and time again at a barrier. So you could be trying to push forward on the drone, and it's just glued in place there. And we're doing a lot of other exciting upgrades. Like we just launched a remote connectivity platform. So our customers can now just plug in a device and we can help better support them remotely, where we could say, all right, Heath, we're looking at your drone and everything looks healthy. We looked at your latest data. Oh, you're getting this error message. Let's go ahead and calibrate this sensor. And we could be in Charlotte looking all that while you're out cleaning in Texas.
It makes sense. That's impressive. So two more parts of this question. What is your approach when you sell this service when it comes to apartment complexes or any type of building? Do you get, no, never mind, too expensive? Or how do you pursue it being better service than conventional?
Sure. So I would say we've never gotten the issue of being too expensive. If anything, I think when we internally have done the services in the past, we've typically underbid and could have gotten a lot more out of it. And that's usually because it takes us a fraction of the time to be on the job site. Like if a job takes somebody 5 days, we may be able to get it done in just 1 day. But usually I just try to be very honest and transparent with that property manager, just show them a portfolio of work we've completed. And that's part of what we try to empower our customers with are the videos of our drone in action cleaning and some before and after pictures. So what I would do if I was going to an apartment property manager, I'd look at the type of surface, let's just say it's stucco, and I would reference a past job a drone has done cleaning stucco and say, hey, look at this great work the drone could do. And then as long as you give them a fair price estimate, it's kind of hard to say no. people are also just excited by the technology. So they like to be involved with innovation, and it's a sales differentiator. Like that's one of the hardest things about being a cleaning company, right? It's really, really hard to differentiate yourself. And typically, if you're out there cleaning a building, nobody thinks anything of it. But all of a sudden, you start cleaning with a drone, it's practically a spectator sport. Like we joke sometimes, like with our service crew, we almost need to send out an extra person for crowd management. But I digress on that point. I'd say the last one is just safety. Like, what property manager really wants a human hanging off the side of their building or rappelling down the side of their building versus having that worker firmly planted on the ground?
Yeah, I'm going to tag onto this one because I'll approach it for how I would incorporate this into my approach. Is like you said, the differentiating factor is like, I'm going to go bid the property or whatever, and I'm just going to tell them straight up, like, hey, I may not be your lowest bid, and I may be your highest bid, but why you want to hire me is I'm not going to put anybody on top of your buildings, because no matter how good we try, like I have the ability to not put any feet on your roof or have any damage. I'm not going to damage your landscaping. I'm not going to have a lift all over the place. I'm not going to have the issue of the lift like falling over. I'm going to put this, 40-pound drone, or I don't know how much it weighs, but I'm going to have this 40-pound drone that's proven time and time again with these photos. Like, here you go. This is my track record, and I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to do it faster, because you don't want another company's trucks in your apartment complex for 5 days. I'm going to do your entire apartment complex in 2 days. And that's obviously once you build the efficiency, like anything, like when you start your business, you got to build your efficiency up. But like when you can get in there and do that, like that's how, like he just said, that's how I would differentiate myself. And that's just like, 6:31 on a Tuesday, like spitballing, like, because my brain is turning about how I would take this into these apartment complexes. And like another way is like everything with these companies is price competitiveness. And like there's this big thing in our industry. It's like, I can't do that for that price because I can't afford to have a crew out there and do it at this price. And I'm not saying you should go cheap, but like, whereas that company paid $38,000 for a job, but you can go do the job in a sixth of the time and charge them, $18,000. It's a 50% reduction in price, but it's not, you killing your company because your manpower is tied up for, an inordinate number of days, and you can't meet your metrics for your profit margin. So like there's, efficiency tied up into like how you bid it. Cause like your last question was, how do you set your profit margins inside of your bid to be able to pay for the rental and wash itself? Well, look, man, I'm going to tell you right now that, 2 residential roof washes are going to pay for a drone for me. I just don't consistently wash roofs like 5 days a week yet. I wash a lot of roofs, but I don't wash 5 days a week. Now, if I was consistently washing like 5 roofs a week, which is 20 a month, and, like I said, like I'm super intrigued by the ability to be like, here's the roof, because you just have your truck lead or whoever it is, your pilot, go over and he puts the thing in, and then somebody goes over and goes, yeah, that looks good. And then he hits execute, and then it does it. Like that right there is what would, like, that feature, and I know you guys are rolling it out this year, is extremely enticing to me, being mostly residential. Now, I feel like your drone is crazy enticing to get into apartment complexes because they're big jobs, but it's got a big system. That 9.6 gallons a minute is going to put out some roof mix. And like this also will fit in the back of a truck, like that skid. So like for you guys pulling trailers, like you don't have to like rebuild your trailer to do this. So that's an option. So like if you have a trailer and you want to add something like this, to your stable of tools, like it may not require like a complete teardown rebuild. Like think outside the box. And I would venture to say that like if you are a customer out there and you're considering this and you're not sure how you'd implement it with your current setup, there's a company that probably will help troubleshoot that, and they're called Lucid Drones.
I was going to say, and on that point, like we've had customers who already have their soft wash rigs, and I've seen some impressive rigs. Like one is literally in the back of a Ford Transit, and everything is custom woodwork with all the different shelves. It was impressive. But for us, it's really easy to integrate with different soft wash systems. So you don't need to get the pump we recommend. If you've got another system you already love, it's pretty easy for us to just recommend the right fittings to connect it to the drone.
And that's the question kind of in line with that. And Neil is asking, in terms of application, does the drone come with different nozzles to spray?
So we only include one right now because, again, a lot of people already have the nozzles that they love for their pumps. The one we typically include is just an assassin nozzle. We typically find that tends to be the most efficient for us. We know we've had feedback from some customers that they like to go with a slightly fan tip, like 15 degrees. So you still get good distance, but you also get a little bit more of a just spray pattern. So for what it's worth.
What's the absolute highest you can fly the drone?
So again, this comes back to regulations. So the FAA limits drones to being 55 pounds, and that includes the weight they carry. So that includes the weight of the hose. And with each foot higher you go, you're carrying more and more weight. Right now, if you're running like a standard half-inch hose, depending upon how heavy it is, again, just knowing the one we use, that's at about 115 feet. And I think what's really exciting about that, though, is that allows you to do most 10-story and below buildings. And in the United States, over 99% of buildings are 10 stories and below.
There you go. That's a good answer. How high? I want to know that too. Sierra's trying to clean city skyscraper. There you go.
Hey, it's on the roadmap. It's not where we're going to be tomorrow. We got to saturate that first 99% of the market. But, at the end of the day, any and every building that you can clean safer and more efficiently with the drone technology, that's what we're working towards.
Absolutely. And I feel like for anybody that does a lot of roofs, if you do a lot of roofs, and I mean, if I just was, like I said, my litmus for this, if I was doing 5 roofs a week, every week, this is a no-brainer. Like, this is just a flat no-brainer. Even residential, because like I've seen you guys do residential. Now, obviously, like you have to be prepared to like overcome, because like I live in Kingwood. Well, there's a lot of trees here. That being said, some of the homes are extremely tree covered, and it would be very challenging to shoot that. But not like, it's just about like assessing your work site, is knowing that what's the answer. And in those rare instances, you just have to be able to pivot and say, hey, I'm going to shoot this roof from the ladder. And that's not what you want to do. I mean, the drone is there to alleviate that concern, but like, that's called job site safety. Is like, I'm not going to put the drone in a situation where I'm going to ping it off 3 trees and then take it on a 40-foot drop. Like, that's bad. So it's like, there's no one. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's an excellent point, right? The drone's a tool in a toolkit, right? Like, if I want to go and look at cleaning residential homes, like, my soft wash rig is going to be great at doing the roof. But if I'm cleaning their driveway, sure, maybe I'll do a pre and post treatment with the soft wash rig. But at the end of the day, it's my surface cleaner that's going to do the heavy lifting on the driveway. But if I'm saying, oh, I can only soft wash the driveway, I'm not using the best tool for that job. So it's, to your point, just having the right tools in your overall toolkit and knowing which one is best for the job.
So Manuel is asking this question. He said, so basically, to watch a 7-story building, it's easy, cheaper, and more efficient to do with the drone. Yeah, there's no lift, there's no risk, there's no moving the lift around. Like, I used a lift on a home. We probably moved that lift like 40 feet. And that still, it was a slow process. And then there's landscaping everywhere, and I'm trying not to make sure the lift doesn't hit anything. So there's like, and I'm dragging hoses and all this other stuff. So it's like, and like the same thing, like you can't just like fire and forget with the drone. Like, you do think hose management still matters. Like, the hose has to be like ready to go and not like caught on something. Like, the drone is not going to lift the rig off the ground. like again, it's like, take care of your equipment. And like, I feel like as a business owner, like, I already know who my drone pilot would be, but I also know who, like, the drone pilot can't be like doing everything. So this is still a team effort. If you're going to do that, like, you need to have somebody watching the hose. You need to have the pilot watching the drone. Like, he can't be like flying the drone or messing with the hose. And like, that's just a recipe for disaster. Like, I'm sure that no one is gonna like the outcome of that, because like we all know, if you try to do too many things at once when you're washing the house, something bad happens. Any other
Amen to
questions?
that.
I mean, I'm excited. Like I I feel like that, it's just a matter of time before this has a bigger place in our industry, because there's just a really the safety is like crucial, but the efficiency is what, I mean, look, safety, it matters, and it matters more to some companies than others. I'm sorry to say that, but like the efficiency ought to get everybody excited, because you can efficiently do things with this. Now, I'm not saying there's guys that are out there that are fast. I mean, there
Exactly. It just
are,
opens up
but
so many.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna like, clean a 7-story building. I'm gonna be like, I'm not bidding that. But about a drone, I'm like looking and seeking those out. Whereas most people, that's like their Mount Everest, and you're like, and if you have the drone, you're like, it's a Tuesday. You're like, I'm all day, like, and then this is where networking comes into play. If you're talking to somebody and they have a big building, you're like, I can clean that, and they're like, really? You're like, yeah. Well, how long would it take you? I don't know, like a day. They're like, oh, what? You can do it in a day? Because then you're not like disrupting their business for, or I can get in and do it on a Saturday, or if you close on a Sunday, I'll clean it on a Sunday. So they're like, you can get in and out on a Sunday. Like, that's a selling point, like right there, like, oh, I can do your whole complex, but it's going to take me 2 days. Like, those are big selling points.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And one we've heard a lot, like just being able to get in and get out. For example, I know some of these country clubs, right? They've got like 1 day a week, that's a slow day, or when they're kind of closed. So us being able to say, hey, we're going to come in with a drone and get this done in a day. They're like, just a day? I don't have to have a lift on site the whole week. Like it's a huge value prop that, you may not even be thinking about. And I guess just the best way to put it is that the drone creates so many opportunities. So again, if you're growth minded, you're looking to grow your business, pursue new opportunities, and find ways to make more money in less time, again, with less liability, like come talk to us. That's exactly what we're all about, is just trying to empower you to grow your business with our technology.
Absolutely. And I feel like if you are, I don't know how, I'm just going to say it like I want to say it. If you're worth your salt as a salesman, and by educating people, that's how I sell. It's educating. Like, you will find a way to allow this to open doors for you. And like you said, it's a spectator sport, basically. This is the demo king. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, demos are impressive because when you go clean something, knock it out of the park, they're impressive. But like, if you go demo something with this, like, hey, just let me demo it. This is why you need to hire my company. And also, don't you guys have, like, right now you're offering an exclusive radius if you sign up?
So yeah, depend upon the package you get. You can have like a certain month interval where you get a little bit of territory protection to get a head start on the competition. And kind of on that note of incentives, for anyone listening to this, we want to let you know, if you just use the word "the Admiral," if you call in and talk to any of our sales reps between now and July 27th, we're going to give you $500 off your first month. So again, just use the keyword "the Admiral" when talking to us, and we'll know to give you $500 off your first month if you sign up with us before July 27th.
And this is a 12-month lease, is the minimum term, right?
Correct.
Okay. And it makes sense. I mean, this is like a custom built drone that can do this. And that, does that include the soft wash system, the lease?
No, so the soft wash would be separate, and that's something that's more of like a lease to own. So that is something that you would eventually own the asset.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So someone sees you clean with a drone, your pockets are going to swell. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. So can it be leased for a big job, or is there a lease contract for a certain time frame, weekly, monthly, quarterly? So we just answered that. There's a 12-month lease. Does it come with enough battery packs to actually do a long job, or is it an extra cost?
Yeah, so our standard package, it usually comes with 8 batteries total. So you've got 4 sets, and you can cycle them in and out, and you've got a battery charger, so you typically don't have to stop. If you've got such a big job that you don't even want to worry about charging batteries, we can sell extra batteries on top of it. But most of our customers, when they have 8, they're like, I don't really need more than that.
Right. Or if they knew they had a big job coming, what's the ship time like inside a week if they knew?
Like, yeah, so long as you don't come to me and say I need 3,000 batteries, typically it's only about a week. We could send them out fairly quickly. So
that makes sense. Is there any other rentals needed other than the drone itself to operate? So you just have to have access to a soft wash system, basically.
Exactly. And I'll tell you this, we've done some, let's call them like cross-country demos where we've flown out there, and all we've used is a 12-volt pump, a car battery, and a 5-gallon bucket to do a demo. So you really could hook this up to the most basic of things. Again, we'd recommend something a little bit nicer, but it's all about
volume will increase your speed. So can we touch on the price again? So leasing starts at $1,800 a month for 12 months. And Correct. Then there's different levels of support. And then are those on your website, or they just need to contact you?
You just need to contact us, and one of our sales reps will walk you through it and explain what you get with the different packages, just to make sure whatever you get is going to be best for your business.
Yeah, that's awesome. So real quick, I appreciate you guys offering the discount for everybody. One of the viewers offered something to give away on the live. There's a class. So I know, are you guys going to be at the huge convention in Atlanta? Are you guys going to be at the huge convention, Lucid Drones?
Yes, we're planning on it.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited. I'm going to get to meet you guys because our whole company's coming to the huge convention. So we'll be there.
Glitched a little bit.
I said I'm excited because our whole company's coming to
the
huge convention.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Meet you guys. Yeah, there's my whole company is like aware of the drone, and we talk about it. They're excited about it. But for anybody that's also going to the huge convention, there is a business boot camp that's the day before the huge. That a guy is giving away a seat in that class, and you have to be attending the huge to go to it. So you have to come in early to do it on the 18th. I don't have the time, but I can get that. So if there's anybody here that's going to attend the huge conference that wants to go to the business boot camp class the day before, speak up now in chat. Valued at $199. There you go. So $200 class that's going to be free. Can't fly drones where you're at because of Fort Benning and the Columbus Airport. I love, and Neil is dying over the Admiral coupon codes. You can thank Ron for that. I just have to lean into. I've learned at my age, you just lean into the skid. If you just lean into the skid, you're good. So, is there anybody watching going to the huge conference that wants to go early and go to the business boot camp? Everybody's like, "No, man, I'm here for the drone." Sometimes it takes. I always wait a minute. It's like you say something.
We're excited to show everybody the drone.
Are you guys going to fly it at the conference? Andrew, are you guys going to fly it at about the conference?
So I don't know if we've got all the logistics organized for it. We'd love to be able to find a time, or even. Oh gosh, I don't know why it keeps going in and out.
I'm here. I can hear. Yeah, I've heard you fine. I never lost you. Can you hear me? I've got you. You're good.
Okay. God, it must just be on my end then. But what I said is we'd love to find a way to be able to fly, even if it may not be associated with the convention, and even if it's just like a kind of group meetup in a park one evening or something, just so people can better understand what the technology looks like in action. Because it's really funny. People will, see a video of the drone or a picture of the drone, and they'll be like, okay, that's cool, but I still don't really believe it. And then they see it in person, and you just see it's like a light bulb moment in a couple of seconds. They're like, oh, that's how it works.
And then they can immediately put it together and how they can use it in their business right there. Like I already get it. Like exactly. I want to see it, but if you're doing it in Atlanta, I want to know, because I'll be there and I'll go live and show people. But like, we've all seen the videos, but like, anybody that's going to the huge convention, like you need to make an announcement, be like, we're going to be here at this time, like on the parking garage rooftop.
Definitely. We'll be sure to figure something out and let you know so you can share it with all the people who follow you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people from the group going to be there. I know that Nevin Shields will be there. He created the Power Washing
Awesome.
Bros.
Yeah.
I feel like at least half the moderators are going to be there. There's going to be a ton of people there, and there's going to be a lot of vendors in Houston as well that are going to it.
Okay.
And I just heard yesterday that Trudy and Shane from Panhandle are going to be here, or be at the huge convention as well. So
Awesome.
I don't have anybody. And Lucid is based out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
You're going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Is anybody? Who the heck is the Admiral? No comment. I see you, Tom. Throwing shade and salt. All right, we got a lot of. Jarris got his tickets. Jarris, are you going to go early? Do you want to go to the boot camp? We need somebody to win this prize. I've never not given one away, but I did. That's what happens when I find like the topic is like really interesting. Is like I get distracted and I'm like, oh, I got to give away something. Like, but Justin, we'll save it and maybe we can do it. We got over a month before the huge convention, and Andrew, I really appreciate you taking the time to explain this. And I feel like I brought this up before. Like I'd like to save this live video and leave it on the group and leave it on YouTube so people can still look at it, because you guys post your videos and they go viral and people go crazy and they have all these questions. And I feel like you really answered a lot of these questions, like clearly. In like, we covered the lease terms, and it's a minimum of a 12-month lease, and it starts at 1,800. There's 3 levels that go up. People need to provide either their own soft wash system or rent one. They are required to have their FAA 107 license. It takes about a week to complete online. Then they have to take the training, and then they have to take a 60-question multiple choice test at the airport. They are required to carry separate insurance for the drone. But, like in general, you guys work with Midwest for, the soft wash system, and they provide, 9.6 gallon per minute, 290 PSI soft wash system, which, gas powered. If anybody's not familiar, they're legit. They put out a lot of volume. Heath, are you going to have an autographing booth for your book at the convention? I don't think that my book to date has made enough money for me to rent a booth at the convention. Like, I love how, at least, thank God, you guys were professional enough to not dog on me until the end of the live interview. So we can let the true genius in the room talk about his product. And so you and 2 buddies, real quick, you guys developed this idea in college, and you guys designed this completely, the 3 of you?
Yeah, so I truly just kind of happenstance we started this company. We all went to Davidson College, where unless you follow college basketball and Steph Curry, you probably haven't heard of us, but that's our claim to fame.
Before Steph, I knew who you were, but that's because of the March Madness.
Of course. But yeah, we just went heads down on this project, and we got to this point where we're like, we need to learn how to build our own drones. And yeah, I grew up in a family of teachers, so I've got like one superpower in this world, and it's just learning things. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna learn how to build drones, and just figured out how to build our first kind of proof of concept drones. And now we've got a whole team of engineers way smarter than I could ever dream of being, and they're the true brains behind the operation. But it was a lot of hustle and hard work. I mean, just like any good soft washing company, right? And what makes you successful is just learning early on, putting your head down, and figuring out how you can improve day over day. If you're trying to wake up tomorrow and be an instant success, it's going to be a humbling journey. But if you take it as a step-by-step journey and think about how can I just improve every single day, you're going to be in a pretty exciting place a couple years from now.
That's a solid advice for anybody doing anything in life. If you just put your head down and work, I mean, you got to obviously have some rudder to your direction, but like you guys seem like you took it and ran with it. And this is, what year is this with Lucid?
This will be year number 4, which is crazy to say.
That's awesome. So you guys and I just heard of you last year. So, like at the end, somewhere at the end of year 3 or somewhere in year 4, like I just heard of you. And but now everybody's like, it's the drone, the drone, the drone. Like you see it all the time on your videos.
Yes.
So I really look forward to it. I am going to recap this live, like with not recap. When we end it, I'll update it and I will add your website, and they can go to your website to contact you guys. And then, so if anybody is attending the huge conference, you'll be there at the huge. So you've seen Andrew's face. Now they're gonna have a booth they're gonna have a label and everything, but like look for either.
It's hard to miss the drone.
Yeah,
that's what you'll be looking at.
Yeah.
Don't look for me. I'm not the attractive feature there. It's the drone. Keep your eyes on the drone.
Well, I know that there's a couple guys that probably want to talk to you directly, because there's some smart dudes in the industry that are always looking at things from like, a totally different angle, which seems like what you did when you looked at safety. You guys approached safety from a different approach, and you did it with a way that you can bring safety to the industry while increasing people's profits. Hard to argue with that.
Yeah. Amen. I was going to say, you're getting really good at selling these drones. You're starting to sound like Buzz.
I feel like Buzz and I got along really well off the bat. So
he's really easy to get along with. Yeah.
He likes to keep those ideas popping. He's a quick dude. Like his emails come fast and furious, and he's like, "Hey, did you get my email?" I'm like, "I mean, I did, but man, I'm out here washing still. Like, I'm sorry, I'm grinding."
I love it.
Midwest is awesome. Who's Steph Curry? Wash your mouth out. I'm not even a huge Steph Curry fan, but come on. You're so stoked about the drone. I like it. We got guys that are like, I'm trying to figure out how to. He's like, I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate this and how to do the math on it to make it work. Really excited to see it fly in Atlanta. I've watching your videos. It's just like for anybody, you guys are on YouTube. So if you just Google Lucid Drones, you can find them on YouTube. And that's what I did when I was looking for video footage to put on the event, to share or to like that I was posting. I just went and found them on YouTube, and you can see a lot of really, really cool things that they're cleaning. So if you don't if you're having trouble visualizing what this could do for you and your company, their YouTube channel will spell it out for you. In addition to the big buildings, like, there's other things that can clean. I mean, this thing is going to smoke like a 3,200 square foot roof. It's just going to smoke it, and then that's back to learn how not to smoke the bushes and and everything you do. It's on you to make sure that you've got the appropriate controls. This isn't a click the button and walk away and go smoke a cigarette and the drone's done. It's like eyes on the prize. So I really appreciate your time, Andrew. This is exciting, man. Like, I know that the mods and I, and Nevin and I, we've talked about your product. Like, I seriously thank you for taking the time, because I'm the baby company CEO, and I know how busy I am. I know that you're a busy man, and you guys are pushing and moving forward. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk with us. And the best part of these lives is, like, a lot of people in the industry got their questions answered, which are common questions, and now they're going to be on the group and on YouTube and other big groups. I mean, I think the reach tonight was like, these groups are 38,000 people, and not everybody will sit down and go on a live. But I've learned that if I can put the lives where they don't just disappear in 100 comments,
sure,
they will get views, and then people can really go, okay, this answered a lot of my questions. And then, if they hang around for 58 minutes, they can go, oh, I'm going to go to the YouTube channel. We should have talked about that at the beginning. That's my fault, because I knew about your YouTube channel. I like it. It's got a lot of cool stuff. Your YouTube channel is 1,000 times better than mine.
Well, I appreciate it. I want to just take a second to say, thanks for letting me come on tonight. It really means a lot just to be able to have this platform. This is something we're so passionate about. We've seen it work time and time again, and we know this is going to change the industry. So getting to talk with industry experts like you, it's a really rewarding experience. For those of you listening, come talk to us. We really want to figure out how we can help you make more money. Like, that's all we care about, is finding ways to help you complete more jobs in less time. And again, most importantly, with less liability. Let's keep you off those roofs.
Yeah. So what you're going to see, I'm going to correct you. I'm not an expert. Like, I'm less than a year in the industry. I'm just the guy that has a grip on the basics. But this is what you're going to see. Like, I'm going to come up to you at the live, at the huge convention. I'm going to be like, what's up, Andrew? I'm going to be live on Facebook. I'm warning you.
Yeah.
There. the excitement will
Okay.
be real because, like, for me, meeting people, like, I think what people don't understand, this is all new to me. Like, I haven't even hit a year of business yet. So, like,
Sure.
getting to do these interviews is incredibly rewarding and exciting. And, like, getting to sit down and actually have a conversation with you, it's just like, I feel like I just drank like 6 Red Bulls. Like I'm just like, I'm like vibrating in
I
my,
feel that.
my
Yeah.
brain is like, because like I'm busy all day, but then I sat down and I'm like, okay, we're doing the interview, and now I've like reread all the data again, and I went over it, and like now my brain is
I,
just ping ponging.
I was going to say, I warn you, this is actually a disease that's been known to be associated with our companies. Now it's going to be impossible for you to drive anywhere and not think, I could clean that with a drone.
Yeah,
I could clean that with a drone. Then all of a sudden you're laying in bed at night thinking, I could clean that with a drone. And you'll lose a little bit of sleep because of it, but hopefully make a lot of money because of it too.
we have a good offer right here to the guy that's asking all the good questions. Last thing is Xavier Hernandez says, Andrew, I have 25 years in health and safety and environmental and an SGE, special government employee for OSHA. If you need anything you need for fall protection safety data, I can get it for you. There you
Awesome.
go.
I would love to follow up. So Heath, would you mind just, I guess, sending me his number or email or something so we can connect after this?
Absolutely. I've talked with Xavier face to face. Brilliant guy.
Okay.
Talented. That's a guy I was like, when he's coming at these questions,
Sure.
there's like a plan, and like he's seeing stuff that no one else is seeing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like that offer, like that's a smart guy just to have a conversation with. And Xavier, if
Yeah.
you're not going to the huge convention, you better be there, man, because you need to be in these conversations. But all right, we're gonna wrap it up. I could sit here and probably talk for another 2 hours, but I've got a birthday to celebrate, and I appreciate everybody tuning in with us. And again, this will be up on the page, and this will also be up on the YouTube channel. So if you missed it and you want to check it out later, and then also go to Lucid Drones on their website. You can talk to their salespeople if you have any questions. If you have any, if you want to see what they do and what they can do, it's all on their YouTube channel. It's super impressive. So thanks again, Andrew, and I'll see you in like 6 weeks.
I can't wait. Let's count it down. Thanks again for having me on.